Okay, students. Now, what happens if I have a situation where I've got a lot of fractions, like 1/3 x, I don't know, let's add 1/2. And it's all equal to 1/12. Okay. Now, one thing you can do is you can multiply like several different times, you know. Like I can distribute this entire equation by 3, right? And then after that, then I can distribute the entire equation by 2 to cancel out that denominator of 2. And then I can after that I can distribute by 12. But multiplying 3 times seems like a whole lot of work. So is there like an easier way to do this? Well, there kind of is. And it kind of involves my calculator. Now, see, the whole point of distributing is I can wind up with whole numbers. Now, how can I be sure that the number I'm multiplying by, if I just pick one number, I could distribute and wind up with all whole numbers? Well, the first thing I would do is I'd look at the largest number here. And the largest denominator I see is 12. So let's work with the number 12. Okay? Now, if I work with the number 12, I'm going to do a division test. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide all 3 of these denominators into 12, and I'm going to see if I wind up with whole numbers. So the first one is, well, this should work. I mean, 12 divided by 12 is 1. See, so that works. Now, let's see if it works with the other two. So let's take the number 12, and let's divide by the number 2. And I wind up with, 6. Okay? Now let's try it again. Let's take the number 12 and let's divide by the third denominator, 3. Let's see. Well, 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay. So it looks like I wind up with all whole numbers. So if that's the case, why don't I just multiply by the number 12? So if I write it out and I show my multiplication, so I got 12 times 1/3 x, and I have 12 times negative 1/2 equals 12 times 1/12. Now, there's a rule when I distribute out fractions, and the rule is real simple. The first thing I want to do is I want to look through. Let's see. If the whole number and the denominator match, you can go ahead and just cross them out. So these don't match, so I'm not going to worry about it. These don't match, so I'm not going to worry about it. These do match, so I'll cross them out. And what am I left with? Well, I'm left with 1, so I'm just going to write 1. See, that's easy. Now, what if the whole number and the denominator don't match? So that's okay. Well, it means I'm going to do some multiplication. I'm going to do some division. I'm always going to multiply the whole number and the numerator. That's the top number. And then I'm always going to divide by the denominator, your bottom number. So let's see. 12 times 1 is 12. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I have 4x. Let's see here. 12 times negative 1 is negative 12. And negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. There. Now I have all whole numbers. Now, what if I get into a situation to where that technique doesn't work? So let's try it again. So I have like 1/3 x minus 1/2. And instead of it being 1/12, let's make it 1/5. And I'll use a calculator to double check, but I'm pretty certain that nothing's going to work here. See, the largest number I have is 5, right? Well, 5 divided by 2 isn't going to give me a whole number. It's going to give me a decimal. I don't want that. So, well, what happens if the largest number isn't my greatest common factor? Well, here's what I can do, and this is foolproof. See, I have 3 denominators here. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to multiply all 3 denominators together. 3 times 2 times 5, that gives me 30. So that number is going to work. That number, if I decide to distribute by this number, 30, It'll give me all whole numbers immediately. The only problem about doing this technique is if you've got some really large denominators, then you're in for a lot of multiplying. But you know what? If you have a calculator, that's not really that much of a problem. Whoops, I forgot to write my multiplication. And again, if you have a calculator, that's not really much of a problem. And I would advise you to use a calculator when you distribute out fractions, because it's just too much work otherwise. It's too easy to make a mistake. So let's see, I got 30 times 1, which is 30, divided by 3, which is 10x. Now I have 30 times negative 1, which is negative 30, divided by 2, negative 15. And in my answer side, I have 30 times 1, which is 30, divided by 5, which is 6. So this is how I can use my calculator to help me distribute out any fractions. I hope this helps.